Hey everybody, it's Jim here. Twice a year, I sit down with every single guitar I have and I play them back to back. At the end of that, I make some decisions, which ones I want to keep, which ones I'm going to sell on for one reason or another. Previously, I did this with all of my humbucker guitars for the first time on YouTube, and you guys liked it so much that you wanted me to do the same exact thing, only this time with all my single coil guitars. And I honestly am kind of dreading this because I know that there are going to be some decisions I have to make here because I just don't need all of these guitars. Now, similar to last week, there are going to be some ground rules. First being, I apologize if I play the same riff more than once. I don't intend on cutting this up beyond belief, finding the best possible takes for each instrument. That's just going to take far too long. We got 9 guitars to go through today. Second of all, there will be mistakes. Again, not looking for perfection. This is just for my own personal kind of collection and decisions that I've come to on my own. So to begin with, we're going to start with a guitar that is not being sold. Not now, not ever. This is my Fender 1982 JV Stratocaster. This is my first real guitar. I love this thing to death, and it really turned me on to all the Japanese guitars that I now know and love. I'm going to briefly play it, and then, we'll move on to some other stuff. Not much to say about this. This is what a Stratocaster should sound like. I've had a lot of vintage style Strats in my day and they all end up going. This one ends up staying. So if I was ever going to get another Stratocaster, it would have to be something much more modern or very different than this traditional layout because this to me is as good as it gets. Now let's go on to the Telecasters. We have 4 to go through. Alright, now this guitar was in the previous video. But I wanted to include it in this video because I wanted to touch on my own personal preferences and things that I think separate a pretty good guitar from a great guitar. This is the Squire 40th anniversary Telecaster with a satin finish. This has the TV Jones, star wound pickups, and all American electronics. So it's been pretty heavily upgraded. We're going to start off on the bridge pickup. I hear it straight away compared to the Strat. Anyway. Alright, so this guitar doesn't sound bad. Acoustically, though, it's by no means a dead sounding guitar, but it doesn't have a whole lot of life behind it. I'm going to go grab another Telecaster and give you a little basis of comparison between the two. Alright, so this is one that you may not have seen before on this YouTube channel. This is a late 1990s Fender Japan Blue Flower Telecaster I bought from Thunder Road Guitars. It came with a set of Lohler specialty pickups and a Lohler harness, and it was at a really good price. But what I wanted to show you between this guy and the Squire, before I even plug this thing in, man, and this is all the same exact kind of hardware and both stock. Now, I know that most people don't care. Frankly, they don't give a damn how a guitar sounds unplugged. And I don't think that this red Squire sounds bad. I mean, it really shouldn't sound bad. It's got all American components on it. The hardware is decent enough. Telecasters are not all that complicated. But this guitar comes to life. And I really feel like when you start with an instrument that sounds really good acoustically, you are on the right track. And for me, it's like it's not even close. And the feel is another thing too. Like, this feels like a much more balanced instrument. The neck shape is one thing that, you know, it's gonna vary depending on what guitar that you have and what you like. Whether you like a beefy neck or a skinnier neck, but as far as just the feel of it, whether it would be skinny or fat, you can feel when it's a really decent quality guitar. And this is by no means a super high-end instrument. This is just a really good example of 90s Fender Japan. So, one thing I'm excited about this guitar, these specialty pickups are pretty high output. I typically play low output pickups in more vintage style like the Lindy Fralins. So I'm interested in giving this one a go. This is a good one. This is a really good guitar. I love this guitar. I really do already. I'm very happy with it, and it was kind of nice to have somebody else do all the modifications that are kind of up my alley sound-wise and have them done professionally. I don't have to do anything to this thing. I'm definitely going to keep this guitar. That's something that I'm just going to put out there. But is that going to be the case for all of the Telecasters or all of those guitars in those racks? Because believe it or not, nothing is safe. All right, in case I want to do any comparisons between two guitars again, we're going to leave the stand right where it is. It just makes more sense than fidgeting around. This is Ishibashi Music Fender Special Run from Japan 2023. Traditional 60s with the quilted maple top and a lovely ash body. Harder to find, and I like ash in general. This does have all stock components on it. The only thing that's been modified on this guitar, I got rid of the threaded saddles. I'm never a fan of those. I always dig my hand into them when I'm playing, so it's got Callahams. Let's hear what this thing sounds like as is, and it should be tuned a half step down, if I do recall correctly. I really like the neck on this. It's a little bit thinner than the one on the blue Telecaster, but it's got a flatter radius. This is a modern radius, 9.5. I love how dark the fingerboard is. I love the presentation of this guitar. I mean, this is a looker of a guitar. My problems with it are kind of, I don't really enjoy having this thing out of the rack, because I don't want to ding it. I don't like having guitars like that. I know it's crazy because I'm the one that bought this guitar to begin with here, but I don't like that at all. I like being able to knock it here, knock it there, not the end of the world. I don't really care that much. But as far as the sound goes of this thing, I think this sounds great. And I do have another set of Lindy Fralin vintage pickups. And if I wanted to throw those in this guitar, I could have already done it by now. But for some reason, even though I really do like this guitar a lot, I think I like the blue one a little bit more, and maybe with Telecasters, I'm just always going to favor the vintage radius. Yeah, I think that is what it is. This one's going to get listed for sale. It's in pristine shape, and somebody can carry on and write tons of great songs with it. Let's move on to the final Telecaster. If you think there is a chance in hell this one is getting sold, you're crazy, unless you don't know what it is. This is a 1984 Fender JV Telecaster double bound TL6270B. It's all original, and I don't want to change anything on it. It's weird. I am weird like that. This guitar made it almost 40 years without anybody modifying any of the internals. All the soldering joints are perfect and as they were from the factory, and it would take a lot for me to want to change that because I'm happy with the way this one sounds. So play it real brief, and then we'll move on to the offsets where things are going to get interesting, because I think one of them's going to go, at least. If you're wondering why I did that, I knew I was going to get hit with copyright. So I stopped the phrase and I just said, screw it. I don't need to play this guitar anymore. This thing is awesome. Acoustically, like a bell. I was just complimenting the Blue Flower Strat for how that thing sounds unplugged. This is next level. So I guess I really am a believer when it comes to every part of the guitar having some sort of impact, whether it's going to translate to a gigantic difference in the context of a song or anything like that. That's debatable, it's marginal, it is what it is. But as far as for my own enjoyment, and when I'm playing guitar on my own, I really notice these things. And that's why I truly appreciate like a masterfully built guitar, and this is what I would consider this JV Telecaster. Now we're in trouble because we're going to the offsets. All right, we got this thing all tuned up. This is 1975 Fender Mustang. That is all original sans for one volume pot and a very purple finish on it. Kind of fitting, if I do say so myself. Pretty light guitar. I think it's 6.5 pounds, something like that. Skinny neck. I really like playing this guitar, but the neck is a little bit skinnier than, my first choice would be. Let's hear what it sounds like, because for funk, that's what it's all about. Out of phase. Sounds really good with gain. Even though his pickups are low output. This is a fun guitar to play. It really is. It's a really, really fun guitar to play. The question I have for myself here is, do I enjoy playing this as much as a Jaguar or a Jazzmaster? Because I don't think I need all four of these. Let's try one of the other ones. You know what? We'll go to the Jaguar first because it's also a short scale. We'll see what's what and who's who. This is the Momose MJG. Not a Fender. It's better than any Fender I've ever had, Jaguar, including Fender Custom Shop, mind you. Let's turn the gain back a little bit. Things got a little out of hand with the Mustang, honestly. They really did. But I don't want it as dry as I had it with the Teles and the Strat. We'll dirty it up a little bit. See how it goes. So we got the Benson preamp. That's what we'll be using this whole time. In case I haven't mentioned it. That would be bad of me. What's your malfunction? Oh, the tuner's on. That's a hell of a chord. Suffice to say, I'm not selling this guitar. I really love Jaguars. If it's between a Jaguar and a Mustang, I'm gonna pick the Jaguar. I like the Jaguar vibrato way more than the dynamic vibrato of the Mustang. Mustang is lighter, got that going for it. That's pretty cool. But this is in general. I'm not making a final decision, but if I had to pick between the two, here's your winner. So therefore, this one's safe for now. All right, before we get into the main dish here, which is the JV, because really, that's where things are going to get interesting. We're going to go to this guitar. This is the American Vintage 65 Jazzmaster. My wife earlier today, no exaggeration, we were talking about guitars, and she said, I don't care if we're homeless on the street. This is the last guitar I'm allowed to sell. And honestly, that kind of pissed me off, because this would not be the last guitar I would keep. First of all, there are two I would rather have over this one. The Telecaster, the JV, and the Stratocaster, the JV. But if I take those two to a side and take her own bias out of it, and the fact that we write so many songs with Jazzmasters, that's a really good guitar. So, I believe this is tuned down half a step. And let's see if we can get some kind of fun stuff going on here. Got a little carried away there. No matter what I say, I begrudge this guitar. I admit it, I love it. Now, the JV. This is going to be a little bit of a different story because pickups are quite different. So the thing about this guitar, right? First of all, just comparing it with the other one, the gold one that we just played. I actually think the neck is a little bit nicer on this one. The pickups, though, and the electronics, all this is not really traditional Jazzmaster. You see, when Fender Japan started first making these guitars, this came with Jazzmaster size looking pickups. They look correct. They're not. When we open this up and we put it on the bench when we're doing our full overview of the guitar, you're going to see the bobbins are Strat size bobbins. So it's not going to sound like that instrument is. And compared to the Telecaster, this is part of the dilemma we're going to have today in our decision. This is all original and just as hard, if not harder, to come by. Actually, I would say not as hard to come by as the JV double bound Tele was in the black. But it's all original. It's made it 40 years without some idiot swapping a part on it. All the solder joints are the same. Man, be a tough one. But I don't want to be the one that ruins that. Maybe. I'd have to really like it. We're about to play a very strange game of musical chairs. I definitely like the neck better on that guitar than this one. But it's a totally different playing experience. This guitar is light as a feather. It's really unique. one last thing I want to try. Obviously, I've had all these guitars for a little bit. I do have a basic understanding of what they excel at, what they can do, how they feel, all that fun stuff. But right now, I'm really going for the nitty gritty because this is go time. I do this twice a year for real, and I sell guitars. You guys would see it from the listings. I'm gonna play a little bit of funk stuff. Well, not funk, but funky syncopated stuff. And I'm gonna play it back to back with this Jazzmaster. We'll hear how they sound compared to each other, just for the video's sake. Alright, this is going to be a little bit tough because I am in a different tuning. This is half step down. That's an E standard. I really want to play an open riff here, especially on the bridge pickup. I'm just going to have to go back to a house riff and see if we can compare it that way. Now I'm waffling because we're at the end of the video and I realize that. What I'm trying to determine for myself here is two things. First of all, I like playing this guitar better than I like playing the Mustang. 100%, I think I do. The second thing is, does that mean that this is a keeper? It depends. Because the way I'm looking at this right now is, the JV Telecaster, again, all original, but I don't want to change anything on that guitar. The JV Jazzmaster, all original. I'd love to change out these pickups. I just would. I feel like this guitar could be like incredible with the right set of pickups in it, and I could do something to make it a little bit different from Goldie over here. But I don't know if I want to do that. Whereas the Mustang's already been modified too. It's got a refinish. I mean, what the hell else could you do? Might as well gut the thing, right? But I gotta make a decision. And I'm not dramaing this up for YouTube. This is something I decided. All right, let's do a quick recap of what we do know is going, and then one extra guitar that I decided I was gonna go in the meantime. So, the Paul Reed Smith guitar, the Custom 24 with the 5909s and the Callahan bridge, that's for sale. The pink Telecaster Ash, I'm going to put that for sale. The red Squire, that's for sale. That's 3 guitars so far. The Surf Green Cabernita, I'm going to sell that too. I want one more. I just had this thing in my head that I wanted to cash in, if I'm honest. I could use the money because there's a lot I want to do with this YouTube channel. And there's a lot I want to invest in with, me and my wife. It's either the ES Les Paul, this guitar, or the Mustang. Maybe two of the three. Now, it's going to sound crazy. As rare as that ES Les Paul is, I'd have a much harder time finding one of these. But that shouldn't be the biggest factor. What the biggest factor is, this fits me like a glove. I hate admitting this, but of the three offset guitars, the Jaguar, the Jazzmaster, and the Mustang, my best playing has always been on one of these. This neck fits me like a freaking glove. These frets have so much life in them. I'm going to hold on to this one. So between two, I know, the plot thickens. You are literally watching a guy sit in his music room, painfully trying to decide here what's going to go and what's going to stay for his non-touring rig. I'm going to list the Mustang for sale, but before I do, somebody sent me an email saying if I ever sell that guitar, let them know first. So if you're watching this and you're a regular of this channel, obviously you saw that video and you said if you ever sell that guitar, let me know. You'll be getting an email in the next 24 hours. You get first dibs. So the 1975 purple Fender Mustang is going to go. Recap. PRS, gone. Good riddance. Hope to never see you again. Surf Green Cabernita, nothing wrong with it. It's great, but I got other great guitars, and I'd rather have money at this point than that. This guitar, I'm going to marinate on. It would take the right price. And the problem is, for those of you in the offset community that would really want this guitar, this is going to suck for you. But there's not a snowball's chance in hell that I would sell this for less than $4,000. Because I've seen 90s guitars sell for $3,000. And I saw an A serial from Mike and Mike's Guitar Bar sell for $3,625 within the last 30 days of me posting this video. So if you think I'm going to price an all-original JV that doesn't have the Made in Japan sanded off or any electronics or anything switched on it for less than what an A serial got, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. But that's not something we got to worry about today. This guitar is going to stick around. Let me know in the comments what you think about that one aspect of the decision. If a guitar was all original and it was vintage, this is a 40-year-old guitar at this point, would you feel bad modifying it? Yes or no? Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. And I'll see you on the next video. Take it easy, everybody.